Listen closely. Can you hear that? It is the sound of silence. It is the silence of the mainstream media. It is the silence of your politicians. It is the silence of a financial system that is holding its breath, waiting for a dam to break. They are keeping you quiet with distractions. They want you arguing about culture wars. They want you focused on the latest celebrity scandal. Why? Because if you looked at the math, the raw, unfiltered, brutal arithmetic of the United States economy, you would run on the banks tomorrow morning. We are standing at the edge of a cliff that took 100 years to build. The United States national debt has breached $35 trillion. Let me put that number into perspective for you. If you spent $1 million every single day since Jesus was born, you would not even be close to 1 trillion. We are at 35 trillion, and it is accelerating. We are adding $1 trillion to the debt every 100 days. This is not sustainable. This is not economics. This is a crime scene. They tell you, don't worry, the US controls the printing press. They tell you, we owe it to ourselves. This is the $35 trillion lie. The truth is, the system is broken. It is functionally insolvent. The United States is a bankrupt corporation masking its default by printing worthless paper tickets and handing them to you as wealth. You are working longer hours, taking fewer vacations, and stressing over grocery bills because you are trapped on a debt treadmill designed to extract your life force to service their mistakes. This video is not just a warning. It is an autopsy of the American empire's financial collapse. Over the next 15 minutes, I am going to show you the mechanics of the machine that is grinding your future into dust. I will explain why the soft landing is a myth, why your savings are the target, and exactly how the great wealth transfer will strip assets from the middle class and hand them to the elite. But more importantly, I will give you the day zero plan, a blueprint to exit the matrix, protect your family, and turn this crisis into the greatest opportunity of your life. My name is the Sentinel, and the countdown has begun. To understand how we get out, we must understand how we got trapped. This didn't happen overnight. This is a multi-generational scheme. 1. The historical betrayal, 1971. Go back to 1971. President Nixon temporarily suspended the gold standard. He told the public it was to stabilize the dollar. He lied. That temporary measure severed the link between the dollar and reality. From that moment on, money became fiat Latin for let it be done. It became a belief system backed by nothing but faith and military force. Since 1971, productivity has skyrocketed, technology has advanced, yet the average worker can afford less and less. Why? Because the currency itself is bleeding to death. This is the hidden tax. Every dollar they print steals value from the dollars in your pocket. 2. The mathematical doom loop. Fast forward to today. We have entered a phase that economists call fiscal dominance. This is the point of no return. Here is the mechanism, and it is terrifyingly simple. The US government spends far more than it collects in taxes. To cover the difference, it issues debt treasury bonds. For decades, the world bought this debt because it paid interest and was considered risk-free. But now, the debt pile is so massive that the interest payments alone are consuming the budget. In 2024, the US will spend more on interest payments than on the entire national defense budget. Think about that. We are spending more to pay off the bankers than to defend the country. This creates a doom loop. Step 1. The government must borrow money to pay the interest on old money. Step 2. This new borrowing increases the total debt. Step 3. Higher debt means even higher interest payments next year. Step 4. Repeat until collapse. There is no mathematical way to tax your way out of this. If they taxed every billionaire in America at 100%, it would fund the government for a few months. The math is broken. 3. The liquidity trap. So, what is their solution? This is where the trap snaps shut on you. The Federal Reserve and the Treasury are currently running a liquidity trap. They are keeping short-term interest rates high, around 5%. They want you to look at that yield and think, safe. They want you to sell your hard assets, sell your business equity, and park your money in government bonds. They need your liquidity. They need you to buy their debt. But here is the reality. They are offering you 5% in a currency that is losing 10% to 15% of its real purchasing power annually. Do the math. If you earn 5%, but the cost of living rises by 10%, you are getting poorer by 5% every single year. This is called financial repression. It is a deliberate policy to liquidate the middle class slowly, so you don't notice until it is too late. You are the frog in the boiling pot. The 5% yield is just the warm water soothing you before the boil. 4. The end game, yield curve control. What happens when the world stops buying US debt? We are seeing the cracks already. China is selling. Japan is selling. The BRICS nations are accumulating gold, not dollars. When there are no buyers left, the Federal Reserve becomes the buyer of last resort. They will implement yield curve control. They will print trillions of dollars to buy their own government's debt to keep interest rates artificially low. When they do this, and they will do this, the floodgates open. The supply of dollars will explode. We are looking at a scenario similar to the 1940 seconds, or worse, the Weimar Republic. Not necessarily overnight hyperinflation, but a sustained, high inflation grind that destroys the middle class. The system is rigged to sacrifice the currency to save the government. They will choose to destroy the dollar to keep the game going for just one more election cycle. Enough theory. Now we talk about strategy. If the system is designed to destroy savers and debt holders, then to survive, you must do the opposite of what the system wants. You must become a contrarian. While the masses, the sheep, are chasing the 5% yield, you need to be positioning yourself for the great wealth transfer. This event will be the largest redistribution of wealth in human history. It will move from those who hold paper to those who hold real assets. Here is the Sentinel protocol for the day zero scenario. Pillar 1. Reject the counterparty risk. Gold and silver, you must own money that is not someone else's liability. If you own a bond, you depend on the government to pay you. If you own a stock, you depend on the company. If you own gold, you depend on nobody. Gold is not an investment to make money. Gold is money. It is the only immutable measure of value. The strategy: allocate 10% to 20% of your net worth into physical precious metals. Not paper gold or ETFs that you can't redeem. Physical metal that you can hold in your hand. When the banking system freezes, and it will, that metal is your liquidity. Silver is the strategic play. In a currency collapse, gold is for preserving wealth, silver is for transactions. It is currently historically undervalued. Pillar 2. The inflation shield productive real assets. You cannot eat gold. You need assets that generate value. Energy and commodities. Look for companies that own things the world needs, not things the world wants. Oil, natural gas, uranium, agriculture, copper. These sectors will price adjust with inflation. When the dollar crashes, the price of oil in dollars goes up. Own the producers. Real estate with caution. Fixed rate debt on cash flowing real estate is a powerful tool. You borrow dollars that are worth X, and you pay them back years later with dollars that are worth Y, much less. Inflation eats your debt. But be careful, taxes and maintenance will rise too. Pillar 3. The Bitcoin lifeboat. Whether you like crypto or not, you cannot ignore the mathematics of Bitcoin. It is the only asset in the world with a hard cap that cannot be diluted by a central bank. It is a decentralized liquidity network. In a world where governments will try to implement central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, to control your spending, Bitcoin is your exit door. It is schmuck insurance against the incompetence of the Federal Reserve. Pillar 4. Strategic liquidity. The vulture fund. Do not go 100% into assets. Keep a war chest of cash, short-term equivalents, or very liquid T-bills, only for the very short term. Why? Because when the crash happens, liquidity will dry up. People will panic sell their homes, their cars, their businesses for pennies on the dollar just to get cash. That is when you strike. You use your dry powder to buy world-class assets from distressed sellers. This is how the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds built their empires. They bought when there was blood in the streets. The most dangerous thing you can do right now is nothing. Normalcy bias is a psychological state where people refuse to believe a disaster will occur because it hasn't happened yet. The people of Rome didn't think Rome would fall. The people of Venezuela didn't think their currency would become trash. The United States is not immune to the laws of economics. The math has already been written. The check has been signed. It is now just waiting to clear. The $35 trillion debt is not just a number. It is a promise broken. It is a future stolen. You are currently standing on the tracks, staring at the light of an oncoming train, arguing about politics. Get off the tracks. The great wealth transfer is coming. You have two choices. You can be the victim, clutching your paper dollars as they turn to ash, blaming the government that betrayed you. Or you can be the sentinel. You can prepare, you can harden your assets, you can educate your family. The system is rigged, yes, but it is rigged against the ignorant. For the informed, it is a game that can be won. We are building a fortress of knowledge here at Day Zero. If you want to survive the coming storm, you cannot do it alone. I want you to do 3 things right now. Subscribe to this channel. Share this video with one person you care about, someone who needs to wake up. Comment below with the word Sentinel if you are taking action today. The debt clock is ticking. Don't let time run out on you. This is Day Zero. End transmission.